No, that's great. So, Terence, I mean, let's just break it down now for everybody. And I mean, we hear all these buzzwords, in the industry today, and we often have a range of different, topics that people are studying, whether it's from medicine through to engineering. And those are the traditional sort of academic areas of study, etc. Now we've got artificial intelligence, we've got robotics, we've got machine learning, data science that you've mentioned, deep learning. All of this stuff suddenly become so popular in the last sort of 10 to 15 years. And I know from my experience, as we drive things like digital transformation in large organizations, one often realizes that it takes a while for people to catch up and to understand these concepts and get to grips with them. So from your perspective, with a non-technical audience, probably, listening to our webinar today, how do you link these different topics? And can you give us an easy to remember way of thinking about, I would say, artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, and maybe one or two of these others? In your mind, is it something that is relatively clear for you, and how do you make sense of it, and how would you explain it to a non-technical audience?
Sure. So if you think about it, in the past, as you say, in the past 10, 15 years, we as humans, as a society, have really started to generate data. Okay. Every time you click on a web page, you're generating data. Those little accept cookies at the bottom. Those are tracked. Those are sent to some kind of CRM software. Yeah, some kind of marketing person is going to see that data, right? So we generate data with every Google search, with every, even you, as you said, in the medical field, as a patient, when you go to a hospital, you're giving them your data. They are generating data from the diagnosis of you. They have to analyze that data. They can make predictions of things happening in the community based on the data that they get. Data is everywhere. And so in order for us to, before we would, have books where we would put these things down and write them out. It's like, oh, okay, we can tabulate this and we can kind of make a prediction based on that. And, that's why we have difficult subjects like actuarial science and statistics coming up. So to make it easier, data science is kind of our shift, that digital transformation, going from that manual tabulating and trying to figure out things into a digital realm where we have something called big data. Big data is literally all of the data on the internet that we are currently generating as people. Like I said, with the Facebook clicks, your likes, your going onto any website, whatever searches. And we're trying to put that into a structure, right? So, the data is, it could be irrelevant, it could be relevant, it could be valid, it could be inaccurate. We don't know until we actually sort that out, right? So in the basic sense, all that data is probably valuable to someone. And as a company, for example, as I mentioned with the cookies and tracking and things like that, you would like to know, how well your pages are doing. You would like to know how well your marketing is doing and things like that. So as a data scientist or in data science, what they would do is they would take all this data and basically put it into a model. That model will then have some mathematics and statistics added to it, and we can get some kind of prediction. We can get some kind of description of what is going on. Right now, whether that is going to be good or bad will be determined by the data. Then data science itself it seems kind of manual now, right? Because we're just taking data and we're trying to put it into a place and trying to output it. That feels very manual. So that's why we have things like machine learning. Now, machine learning can, in the basic sense, become a way to find specific data or specific patterns. And the computer can kind of think about, oh, I think that this is going to be this. For example, an easy example is handwriting recognition, right? When you use your cell phone and if you have a stylus and you write down things on your phone, it can predict, I think this is a T, I think this is an A, based on prior knowledge. So with machine learning, we need to teach it how to look for certain things. And we can do that in a multiple different ways. The Google car is a very, very good example of this, right? Sebastian Thrun, the man who created the Google car, lots of trial and error, but they basically taught the car how to drive, and this took a lot of teaching, a lot of simulations, a lot of trial and error. And it's exactly the same way with machine learning. We can teach our computers, basically the machines, how to look for certain information. So when we start gathering the information for our data science analysis, we're not getting just any information. We are getting something that is probably valuable or probably necessary. And then if we go a step higher than that into AI, AI is generally a system. So this is going to be at the highest level, you will have an AI system that automates all of these processes. So you can think of machine learning is the process to get there. And once everything is done, we have an AI system. An AI system that can take in information, understand it already from all of the previous simulations, and then output it into our data science, whatever kind of what I'm going to say, output you're looking for. So whether it be the number of clients or the revenue or whatever, and then within that, there's variables that, maybe these people go to a certain store or these people go to a certain website, and then you can start making some predictions. And that's where data science has become really important in that, because if you know where you're struggling, where your business is struggling, you can solve those problems. And so these data science now is a massive field, massive in every sector. It's not just a business thing. It's not just a computer science thing. As you said, it's in our medical fields. It's in our banking. It's in our it's in our schools as well. As I say, Regenesis Business School, we use data science as well, obviously. So yeah, basically AI will be at the top. Our machine learning is our process that gets us the information we want, and the data science part is basically structuring, filtering, and categorizing the data that we've received, and trying to make predictions and describing it, and using that data to improve our system, or whatever feedback we get, we use it.